Hello and welcome to PAXTON ROAD TV. I almost got caught out about my headphones there, but I've got it in time. Yes, this is the preview show for the game. Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds United tomorrow. Kicks off at 4:30 at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. And in the house, joined special guest Darius 352K. How you doing, Darius?
I mean, again, pinching myself. We're on week 4 and Conte's still here, so no arguments, no nothing, no sources, anything. So yeah, I mean, I'm very good, my friend. I'm very, very good. Shang-Chi's back on Disney Plus now, so yeah, I mean, I've got no reason to complain. Hopefully we can carry on the good news today or tomorrow, should I say, in the game.
Yeah, that Shang-Chi's a good movie, by the way. So for those who haven't watched it, go check that out if you can. Before we start, like, subscribe, share, comment, leave your comments in the comment section. We'll get as many comments up as we can. If you want to get a prime comment up, obviously use our super chat service as well. Membership available as well. But let's get into the show. Okay. So Darius, about 2 weeks since the international break. A lot's happened in that time. You know, all the stories you see, Conte banning ketchup and all the rest of it. Players go away. Suddenly have worldies. You know, Harry Kane scores 7 goals against farmers and, you know, part-timers. You know, even Steven Bergwijn, I was talking with Jodi
scoring, yeah,
on the show yesterday, you know, saying that we're getting him playing and, you know, scoring and getting an assist. So
Ben Davies scoring as well.
Oh, I didn't even realize that. That's just
how Ben Davies scored as well. Yeah.
So I was going to ask, what do you think Conte's been able to instill in this last couple of weeks? Anyway,
bit of balls, to be honest. I think that's probably the most informal way of saying it, but I just think that those guys now know. I think with Jose they understood as well. Sort of, you can't mess about. You can't really, you know, step your foot out of line, sort of get your way. But I think it's a completely different level with Conte. I think those guys sort of have seen what he's done literally the season before, and now they're just like, right, we've got sort of a championship winning manager here. I don't think any of us are in any position to sort of oppose him, say anything. I just think all the players have taken everything that he said on board, and hopefully it carries on, because if this is sort of just the results of Conte's small changes to the club after a month, then I mean, long may it continue, because like you said, certain players who I can't remember having a good game are on consistent runs of form at the moment. So yeah, I just think a lot of those players have sort of realized from that first training session that this man's not here to mess about. He's here to do some big things, and if you're not here to do big things with him, I think it'll be a very quick decision for Conte to say, you know what, you're out, I need somebody else in. So I just think everybody's sort of on edge and realizing that they need to sort of play to keep their place in the team and at the club potentially. So I'm happy about it. I'm very happy about it.
Yeah, I think over the last 2 weeks, an obvious thing that he's been able to do is get the majority of players that didn't go away on the training pitch, instill his ideas, get across his mentality, get across his ways of thinking. You know, there's all these little sound bites coming out. You see these little things on Spurs Official, you know, the little training exercises, you know, talks about, I've recently seen how, you know, working certain players a little bit harder. Tanguy, he said in his interview yesterday, he's such a talented player, but has to work harder than the rest of him to fit into the team structure. So I think he's probably been able to get his message across to those players in this time. We still had a number of players away on the international duty. If you think about it, those players like the Christian Romeros, the Harry Kane, Sons, probably don't need as much of that adaptation into that sort of mindset, I don't think. But then you've got players like Lo Celso, who I think does. So it's been a little bit of an imbalance. Some players have been able to get a lot of work with him. Other players haven't. So do you see many changes, or what do you think is going to be in terms of the starting lineup tomorrow? I know you're going to do a lineup show, but any first thoughts on that?
I don't think he's going to change sort of the lineup because he wants to. I think it's just going to be because of sort of what's happening. I mean, Skip, I believe, has got a game ban, so we'll be out. Højbjerg's not touch and go, but I know he's fit in his training, but obviously he had a bit of a knock from that Mason Holgate tackle, and so did Son during the break as well. So I do believe those players will start, but obviously Romero's out with a thigh injury, so I don't know how long that's going to be, which I think is quite a big miss. But yeah, I think he's gonna play the players who are determined to run, because that's all that Leeds are going to do. And I think you need to match the energy of Leeds. And if you match the energy of Leeds and you've got better quality than Leeds, then most times you'll win that game. So I think he's going to go for legs. Saying that, I don't know if I'm going to be happy with the decisions that he makes in that lineup, but I'm in no position to sort of tell Conte anything. I do think we'll probably see maybe, I think Sean mentioned it in the comments, maybe a certain renaissance of a player, maybe getting into the lineup. I don't think it's going to be a renaissance personally, but you might see a certain Harry Winks come into that midfield and partner Højbjerg. I don't think it's going to be Ndombele starting, unfortunately. I do think he's going to go for Winks in that midfield and potentially Sanchez at the back as well for that pace. But yeah, it's not going to be choices and decisions that he wants to make. It's as a result of injuries and bans.
I think from the way he was talking in his press conference yesterday, the way he was talking about Tango was like he's got everything, but he needs to give more. He needs to keep giving more to the team, and I kind of agree with you. I kind of agree with what Sean said. I can see Winks coming into this team. I can see Højbjerg and Winks playing alongside each other. I think he'll probably still go for the Lucas, because Lucas didn't go in international. He's probably going to have a lot of the players that were there and available to put into the team. The likes of Kane and Son, I think they're automatics. My thing is he going to play a 3-4-1-2? Is he going to play a flat 3-4-3? Is he going to go 3-5-2 flat? There's so many little things he could do, but I want to see shots on target. If I'm honest with you, at home, that's what I want to see. I want to see attacking intent.
I think you'll see that as well. I mean, like I said, if there's any one team in the league where you're guaranteed an opportunity to at least have shots, it's going to be Leeds United, and that's no disrespect to Leeds United, and they're not in the best of form this season, but they play in a sort of way that allows chances to be created without you even having to really try, honestly. So you break that press and you're pretty much in that final third. So I just want to sort of see the football that I have seen against Vitesse, against Everton, the quick interplay, the minimal touches in the final third. If you beat that press and you get that ball into Son or Kane running in, it could be a field trip. It really could be a battering, but at the same time, no Romero, Winks potentially starting in that midfield. Like you said, I would definitely go for 3 in midfield just because I wouldn't want to get overrun by Leeds in that midfield. It could be a difficult game. I'm not saying that, but as much as I say it could be a difficult game, we should at least be taking, in my opinion, you should be at least having 12 to 15 shots against Leeds minimum, because they will allow you to do that until the 90th minute. They will not stop pressing you and playing such a high line. So I think there's room for, like you said, Sam, a lot of shots this game, and a lot of shots normally equals a lot of goals. So hopefully we can see that.
Yeah, I expect that's going to be a bit of, because this is what I was going to try and put up next. So let's just go to where we are in the table. Apologies today, didn't have all the last 5 results, had a bit of technical difficulties this morning, but just going through in terms of, where we are in the table. Currently sat 9th, 11 games played. We've won 5, drawn 1, lost 5. Scored 9 goals, conceded 16. That's where the problem is. -7 on the goal difference. You look at it and we're literally 6 points off top 4 where Liverpool are currently.
4 points off Arsenal. That's embarrassing.
That's another story. But you know what I mean. We're not like we're miles away off the pace. Results potentially could go our way this weekend as well, but you have to win. And like you were saying, the Leeds game, if you do not get opportunities to score against Leeds, there is a monumental problem. The only thing I'm not sure about how Leeds, and you might be able to think about this as well, do you think that Leeds might change their formation to kind of match up? Because they obviously know that we're going to play over 3. Do you think that Leeds might do a similar type of thing?
I think because Leeds play a very, very straight. They almost play like a 3-3-3-1 Leeds, and they do change it a lot. And Marcelo Bielsa is a very tactical manager. I mean, he examines all the teams that he plays, and I don't know if you've seen the clip of sort of him when he was accused of spying at Derby, and then at the press conference basically took the time to go through and dissect the entire Derby team. I don't imagine he's changed much from that time. So I imagine he's done his research. He's understood what Conte's going to do, the team that we've got, and I think he's not really going to change anything, man. I think he'll stay with a 3. Whether he plays 2 up front, I don't think he will, because I don't even think Bamford's fit at the moment. So I see them playing like almost a Jack Harrison and Rafinha on each side of the wing, or even potentially Jack Harrison at left back. But it's not sort of the individuals that I'm worried about it with Leeds. Like you said, it is definitely the the sort of style that they play and the tactics that Bielsa will always instill is whether we're going to match that energy and run the same distance that Leeds will. Because if we don't, Leeds will they will get opportunities. They're an attacking team, but the form suggests, and sort of the way that they play suggests, and the manager suggests, because Conte will understand what Bielsa's like. I think he can take advantage of a naive Leeds team, and hopefully he does, because I don't really think the formation matters really for Leeds side, because they do, like you said, they man mark. We know they man mark 1-to-1. So really and truly, that formation doesn't matter that much defensively. So it's more what we do that I'm more concerned about, as opposed to what Leeds do.
Do we have to outrun them? Because this is the big thing about Leeds when you play. Everybody says they've got them miles. I don't know how or where they are in the table in terms of miles and kilometers covered this time. But obviously where they are in the league at the moment, they're 15th. So they're on 11 points, having won 2, drawn 5, lost 4, scored 11, and conceded 18. So they are high up in terms of the goals conceded as well, which you expect from Leeds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But is it a case where what's going on with them? Are they not? I haven't seen a lot of their games, so I'm not quite sure how this pans out. Whether or not they're not getting the opportunities, not scoring, taking chances, blah blah blah. Has the running stats dropped off? What might have happened? But what I do know is that Rafinha seems to be playing really well. He's getting all the plaudits coming out of Leeds. Individual players are what we tend to fall foul of. You know, when we played against Palace, and you got the likes of Zaha and players like that, who seems to cause us problems. You know, Rafinha, I could see that being a similar type of thing tomorrow with some of the individuals that are in our defence. What I was going to ask though was, Conte's first game against Vitesse, managed to score 3 goals. Next game against Everton, no shots on target. You know, what's he got to do to get that balance between attack and defence? And who needs to play in order to do that?
I think Kane needs a partner, and I think he needs his best partner in Son. The 3-4-3, I do enjoy it. I don't mind it, but I just think if you've got somebody next to Kane at all times, and then you've got a creator behind him that's going to be able to sort of feed chances to both Son and Kane, I think that them two can sort of work themselves into creating chances. I don't think they really need an elite coach to be able to create chances between themselves. I don't ever sort of take back what Jose did with those two. I think we can now see, obviously, under Nuno, what he actually did for Harry Kane and what he did for Son, and sort of the numbers that he generated for them. But I think those two have that within themselves. I mean, they've been playing with each other for over 5-6 years now. So I honestly think that it's a case of just making sure that sort of players are closer to each other in terms of proximity on the pitch, because then you can play the ball between each other a lot quicker, a lot sharper. And for me, it's the Leeds, it's the way Leeds play, the pressing that Leeds put on, it leaves room for error. And if you make one error in that sort of system, you will just capitulate entirely. And I just think that it's a case of people finding out what Leeds are like and how they play, and just basically understanding what they were like. It was very much a wow. Like I'm very shocked to see this when they came into the Premier League first, because nobody really thought a team like this would come at people's necks like that. I mean, I will never forget that Liverpool game at the start. I think it was the very first game they played where it was 4-3 or something crazy like that. And everybody was like, what is this team doing? So I think it's just a bit of a case of being sussed out, being understood. And now I think the quality in that team is beginning to show, where, like you said, the individuals, I think Rafinha is an absolutely ridiculous talent. I think he could get into any of the top 6 teams, in my opinion. But the quality of the individuals throughout the team now can't be saved by Bielsa anymore, or by that system anymore, if you know what I mean. And now you're beginning to see that actually the individuals in that team, if you actually took them out of Leeds in that system and put them into different teams in the Premier League, might not actually be as good as we think. But I don't think that can be, or not, I don't think, but I think that can always be sorted out. If they can get quality players in the market, then that will change. But I just think we've seen a little bit of the players being found out now, and the system being a bit exposed. But you never know. That system will always create chances, so they will always get chances to score, and they might turn it around. But I actually haven't watched these as well, so it's interesting to see that they've been so poor this season, to be fair.
If you base it on last season, the way that they played, you know, they've come in and they've played that way, you know, very, very expansive, very open, running all over the pitch, man-to-man marking. It was a bit of a surprise to most teams. But when teams worked them out, you know, you create space. As you know, you create that space. One of the principles in terms of attacking football, create that space, and you can play around them. As you said, the individuals they've got are not at the same level as ours, and this is where the difference comes. They've got, you know, some really good players in there, but not enough quality in that way that they play to be able to. They're not Barcelona at the end of the day. So Bielsa's got to play in a certain way, but he needs to put more into that kind of unit itself. For us, though, in terms of us getting a bit more balance, I think it was just having, as you said, getting the lines a bit closer, but having people playing in between the lines. We sometimes play too flat. It's like the 3-4-3. I think for me, if we're going to play a 3, we're going to have to play at least 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2 in that sense, because I just believe it gives us that little bit extra. But it all depends on the personnel now. I want to see Tanguy play, but like you said, I think we're going to see the likes of Moura with Son and Kane up front, and then it's either, you know, we're going to have a Winks in there with a Højbjerg. That's how I think. We've got a couple super chats in, so I'm going to come to them. SUBSRCRIBE TV, thank you very much, Bob, for that super chat. Magnificent. Big up, beautifuls. Do you think Conte is
beautiful,
a man
beautiful, Bob? Let's show about beautifuls.
I think he was talking to me there, Darren. Big up, beautifuls. Do you think Conte is the man, or is a man who will change his tested formation over injuries, or expect players to adapt? Latter for me, big love. I don't think he's going to change his formation. I think he's a 3 at the back.
I actually think I agree with you. I agree with you, but I do think he will change. Like you said, he will tweak formations and tweak sort of the way we play to accommodate the teams. And you know what? The main thing for me about Conte that I haven't seen from our past 2 managers is in-game management. I think Conte's in-game management, he doesn't hesitate to make subs. If he sees something's not going right, he will change it. And I think Conte's got a history of he didn't start off playing a 3 at the back. He was playing, I believe he played a 4-3-3, and then he played 4-4-2 for a while, and then obviously came in and played a 3-3. Understood that 3 at the back was working. Obviously, Juventus at Chelsea, he started off with a 4-2-3-1, and then changed to a 3 at the back, and then went on a crazy unbeaten run and won the league. So I think he will, once he finds that perfect formation, he will stick with it. But I think he's still yet to find it with Tottenham. I don't think he's actually fully understood his squad yet and got to know his squad. I think he will, once he plays that 3-5-2, he'll probably stick with it, and you'll probably see like a Son, Kane and Tanguy trio up front instead of Lucas. But at the moment, I think he's just playing safe and getting results on the board. And then, you know, once people are confident, player quality starts coming in, and Conte's ideas and obviously his training regime starts to, you know, come to fruition, then you might start to see a lot more of Conte's ideas, because a lot of his football revolves around having the legs, and 3 fitness coaches suggest that he wants people's legs in that shape as soon as possible. So yeah, you just have to wait. I think you just have to be a bit patient and wait to see for maybe if another couple of weeks. Those players on the international break definitely should be up to scratch now though.
Yeah, I as go back to what Bob's point in the last point, is he going to change his formation to suit injuries or suspensions? I personally think he's trying to implement a way of playing. This 3 at the back is what he's going to do, and there's a few telltale signs because of that for me. Some of the things that he says in his interviews, he says, I've got my ideas, I'm trying to get my ideas across. I do agree with you though, in terms of the in-game management stuff. If we got a player that comes off, he might then say, right, if we're chasing the game or having to protect the game, he might change it to a back 4 accordingly. But from the outset, I believe he's going to go with the 3. So I can see that 3 at the back. Even though Romero's not playing, I can see Ben Davies, I can see Dyer, I can see Sanchez easily fitting into that back 3.
Easily, yeah. Same.
I can then also see, you know, Emerson Royal, possibly even Doherty going as a right wing back. On the left-hand side, that's where it's a little bit more of a concern, because if you've got Ben Davies playing as left centre-back, you've only got Reguilon to play as a left wing-back.
Session's back training as well.
But that's what I was going to say. You've got someone like Ryan Session who's maybe had a couple of sessions, who potentially could be that player, maybe on the bench, to come off Reguilon if Reguilon was, you know, not playing as well, to see. But I don't think he's going to change from the 3 at the back at the moment, but he will make the in-game management changes accordingly. Let's get through these couple more super chats we've come in. Thank you, guys. So Wayne Bonner, let's see what Wayne's got to say. Thank you very much, Wayne. Time to see who wants to play for the badge. If Kane turns up, I'll go for a 3-0 win. Looking forward to this game. Should be a good game and a great stream. Thank you very much. We've also got our own Hurley 61 in the house here. Sean Hurl saying to us, they have injuries at Leeds and big players have been missing. Think this evens us out on team front, but he's still saying 3-0 to Spurs. So that's confidence for you. That's confidence. I think we've already touched about Leeds and how they might approach the game as well. I don't see them doing anything other than being open, but I am intrigued to see the formation that they play, because I have a feeling that Bielsa may, because he's had time to, may decide to match up with the 3 and go with Leeds playing with a midfield, whatever, 5-3, whatever you want to call it. Do you think it's going to be an open game? Is that an obvious thing to say? Is it going to be an open game? Or because the reason I'm saying that is because Conte doesn't like them type of games. He likes to have control. He likes to have elements where he's in control. So how do you think he would go about his approach in order to not be so basketball back and forth, back and forth? What's Conte going to do?
He won't press high. That's probably the way to sort of stop that game being so frantic from the start. I think you'll probably see, because Conte, and a lot of people like to say Conte's defensive, whatever, but what Conte does is he presses from sort of a mid to low block, but he actually does press. And as soon as that ball will go past our halfway line, I think you'll probably see that pressing intensity come on. But I don't think you'll see sort of Kane and Son pressing from the front familiar, because they can play football around you if they really want to, Leeds, and they will play football around you. And like you just said, even if they were 20th in the league, 0 points, conceded 50 in the first 15 games, they'd still play the football that they would play. So I don't think they're going to change. Bielsa's always said that I'm never going to change the way I play. So it's just a case of not falling into their trap. And the best way of doing that is sort of pressing a little bit further back. And at least then I still think that the way that Conte plays, the players that we've got, we can sort of build attacks from a little bit deeper. We don't necessarily have to be so high up to sort of turn that around. I think we can actually, the quality is in our team to build attacks from deeper if we do run that ball back a little bit further into our half. But I think that's the only way you can really sort of, to any extent, sort of scupper that Leeds team and the way they play is to sort of maybe just let them hold the ball for a bit longer and keep possession, and then you press a little bit more once you get into your half of defense. But honestly, I don't know about you, but I don't really see him being able to make that game any less of a sort of a crazy game. But you can find ways around it. I definitely think you can find ways around it.
There are ways around to do that, and as you said, it's dropping off. If you play deep to counter attack, Leeds will obviously have to play for you. Are they a team that can build the play up and try and play through teams, or are they relying on teams pressing them so they can counter press and counter attack, that sort of thing? If a team drops off into their own half and maybe creates a shape, Leeds have to play a different type of game. Give them the ball. However, at home, I can't see us playing like that. That would be detriment to us going forward, because I think we want to be on the front foot. We want to have the majority of the possession, and I think ultimately that's what Conte is going to want to have: control of the game, controlling all aspects of the game. But Leeds are that sort of team where if you play a certain way, it can expose you, but we can obviously expose them as well. So that's really the case. It's going to be an interesting game. Let's just see what Sean's saying about
this. I was going to say, this would probably be the team that I would go for, or realistically, this would probably be the team that I'd go for. I do like the look of this team. I definitely like the look of this team. Yeah. Apologies
if my stream's lagging a little bit, but I'm going to read it out anyway. So Sean's saying Luis, Sanchez, Dyer, Rodon. That's an interesting one there, because Rodon, did he play for Wales in
Yeah. He does. I'll double check that, but he definitely Rodon is a regular at Wales.
Okay, so I'm going to go back in because there's obviously listeners we've got on Spotify listening, so I'm going to go through that team again. So Lloris, Sanchez, Dyer, Rodon. We've got Emerson, Højbjerg, Winks, Reguilon, Ndombele, Son, Kane. Now for me, that's a good team there. I like the look of that. You could probably, as he's mentioned here, Lucas for Tanguy potentially, Winks. You could maybe think Tanguy could go in instead of Winks, and then Lucas could come in as well. There's a little bit of options there, but I think he's going to go safe. I do think with that midfield, he's going to go with that Højbjerg, Winks midfield. We'll see.
Rodon played both games, by the way, and it seems like he did play quite well. He's a regular at Wales. I honestly still have time for Rodon. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't mind Davis starting because he's actually not really put a foot wrong since Conte's come in, but if we're planning and we're sort of preparing for the future, I don't think Davis has got much left in him. Rodon, however, seems to be trusted by that Wales manager. I don't know who it is. Is it Ryan Giggs still? I can't remember. I think he got sacked.
Ryan Giggs is not. He ain't close to that at the moment.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I remember something Ryan Giggs doing. It won't potentially get him in a good book, but he's trusted by Wales manager, so I've got time for Rodon. Honestly,
what is it then? What is it in the situation now? We've got no Christian Romero. Definitely haven't got Christian Romero playing tomorrow.
He's out.
We've got the likes of Choice, Tanganga, Sanchez. Dyer. You've got to have Ben Davis in there if you're going to throw someone. Rodon's don't you think Rodon's got to play? Because I think he's played in a back three for Wales, if I'm not mistaken.
They played back three in the last game.
What's going on? What's going on?
I don't know, mate. And the thing is, I can't even say it's like Conte doesn't trust him, because this has happened with Mourinho. Even Nason didn't play him at all, and Nuno didn't play him. And I don't know what it is. I honestly don't know what it is. I've not seen him play that bad to sort of be left out of the squad like this. And he's not even one of those players who's got any value either.
This comment here from Craig. Craig, thanks for watching. In a back three, Conte used overlapping centre back, and Rodon can't really play that. So there might be the tactical element, but I think what we're basically saying, though, Craig, we haven't seen him play under any manager so far. Really, no manager.
Know is it train? Is it the way he trains? Do you think that's what it is?
It has to be. Training always is the fulcrum, the area where you see how these players are going to likely to perform. That's what we used to talk about when we was doing our football. How you train is how you play. If you don't train well, you can't be expected just to go out. There are some players, don't get me wrong. There are some players in history.
Best example. I think Eden Hazard's the best example for that one.
There are some, but they're not the ones that you want to be able to have to do that, because it then goes through your whole team. If Hazard decides, I'm not going to train well, but I'm only going to turn up on a Saturday, it gives the excuse for other players to do the same thing. And then you suddenly lose control. You suddenly lose the elements of that. So you've got to show it in training. That can be the only thing that is not showing. The attitude might not be right. We talked about players like Dele Alli and Tanguy having a very similar issues in terms of attitude. I don't get this about attitude, but this is what you kind of see if you're working with players on a daily basis. They must have to show you something for you to put them into that team. So Rodon, if he gets an opportunity, I would love to see him, being on that left side of a free, maybe Sanchez on the right side and Dyer in the middle. That would be a good free for me. And then
question for you, Sam. Do you think sort of, how do I explain it? Do you think Rodon will be better in a 3? Because when I see him, when he played in a 4, he's a little bit rash still. He does make that sort of, I like to call it a young mistake, where young players will make those mistakes, but as you get older, you sort of don't see players making that mistake. Do you think if he played in a 3, sort of like Romero, where Romero's very, very aggressive in his play, and he can sort of do that when you play in a 3 because you've got 2 players behind him? Do you think that Rodon will be improved with 2 players behind him, just in case he does make that mistake, just in case he steps out a little bit too far? I think he'd be better in a 3. Honestly, I do think he'd play better in a 3.
So for Rodon, I watched a game where him and Sanchez played in the same game, and I watched and I saw exactly what I think he's not playing. He wanders, he ball watches, he gets caught out watching the ball and following that play. So both them two were getting caught out. I can't remember what team it was, but they were.
I think it was it. I feel like it was Chelsea, but I don't think it was Chelsea.
I don't know who it was, but they were both just pulled out of position. And when you've got a back 2, if one of you's out of position, it's terrible. But if 2 of you are out of position, it's a nightmare. It's going to be a real massive problem. In a back 3, there's a bit more license to be out of position, because one of your right or left-sided centre backs is the one that's allowed. If you think about it, what do is it Leeds? No, Sheffield United. When Sheffield United played their back 3, bam, you would see
that's like the extreme version of that, isn't it? Yeah.
100%. So you see them end up in the box, sometimes having shots at goal. That's where a back 3, in that sense, where players can overlap and run down. Romero was looking like he was doing that. And Ben Davies. Do you remember seeing Ben Davies having pot shots at goal?
Took a shot, yeah. So Craig is right in what he's saying, actually. I wasn't really paying attention to that. And now you say that Ben Davies has been in that final third a lot, and sort of Romero is always going to be like that. So it's a really good shout from Craig, to be fair. I didn't notice that. So yeah, big up Craig for that one. Craig,
that's good. I like that analysis. Well done. Right then, Darius, let's do this last part.
Cool.
Woo! As we know. I know you've been on a pessimistic the last few months. However, we have got one of the best managers in the world now, Darius 352K. So I'm going to think that you're going to be a little bit more optimistic in this. I'm going to write this one down. Right then. Off you go. Talk to me about what you think the score is going to be tomorrow's game.
Well, we've lost our best centre back. So, you know what my theory is? Well, not even the theory. You know what my rule is? I can't predict a clean sheet. And now Romero is gone. I still can't do it even more now. But I've got a lot of confidence in this game. I mean, I don't really want to say this on camera because I might jinx it, but every time we play Leeds, I'm just like, it's an easy win. It's an easy 3-0. I mean, the game that
we lost 3-0 to them last game out. So
I know that's what I'm saying. But it was that game that Jose managed when we won 3-0 that for me was just like, if you know how to play against this team and you've got any sort of tactical idea how to play against this team, you really shouldn't be losing against Leeds because they make it so easy sometimes to sort of just get past them, and as much as it works, it can work. It can not work just as many times. And the way Conte plays and the plays that we have and the form that people are starting to get into now, and I'm talking about Harry Kane, I can see it being a battering. I can see it being a battering, but I'm not going to say that just because just because I don't really want to say anything too crazy and get myself clipped up for tomorrow. So confidently, I'm going to say 3-1 Tottenham. I think that there's going to be a lot of opportunities to score. We could score 6 if we wanted to. We also could score 0, as we know Tottenham can. So I'm going to go in the middle of that and say 3-1. It's just Rafinha I'm scared of, to be honest with you. It's set piece delivery. If you give him a free, I mean, he's even got this technique where, you know, that sort of angle where you just sort of to the right of the 18-yard box and you whip a ball, and if you put it on target and no one headed it, it goes in. Rafinha scored a couple goals like that where he just whipped the ball in, and because it's so pinpoint accurate, it goes into the corner. Nobody heads the ball. So knowing our set piece quality and stuff like that, we can't be giving set pieces away close to the box, really and truly, because we will be punished for it. So as long as we sort of play intelligently, play smartly, it should be quite an easy game, really and truly. And that's why I'm going to go with 3-1. I'm going to go with 3-1. I don't know why I'm saying this, but I've not said this in a long time.
Darius says it's going to be an easy game. Oh, shoot, man. I'm just going to get to this comment. Jews is watching us here. El Cid is not with you, alas. Need one or both of you to sting for a win. Need positive vibes for this, lads. Ooh, tomorrow game. I'm not going to do the scene.
You're not getting a tune out of me, Stanley Jews. You're not getting a tune out of me. I might get Sid to send you a voice note on Twitter or something, but I'm sorry, Jews. It's too early for me. My voice, my throat, nah. Sorry, Jews. Not happening, sorry.
Jews, give me a little song. Give me a rendition you'd like me to.
Oh yeah, give me a song. Give me a song.
Yeah, I mean, let me know, and I might just bust one line from that. Talk MU, talk. Thank you very much. He is our creative designer, as you can see from all the banners. Talk MU saying 3-0. Derek Hutchinson 4-1 to the Spurs. The Hustler. Hi lads, Conte will know where and how we can hurt these. He won't allow us to be exposed. Kane and Son will not. And I'm going to go with what Hustler's saying here. I think Kane and Son will score goals. I think Kane, even though he scored against farmers and pub people,
literal design, literal painters. Yeah,
literally.
That's fair.
So I'm gonna think if he doesn't get an opportunity to score against Leeds being so open, there is no hope for him in the Premier League. But I can see him scoring a couple goals tomorrow. You know what? I'm gonna go with your scoreline. I'm not gonna change it. I can see Leeds like getting a goal, but I can see us having lots of opportunities, and I think that's what he's going to want to do. Being at home, you know, an opportunity now to show us in the 2 weeks what he can do. You know, it's the team selection which is going to be the very interesting bit. That's where we're going to see.
Yeah.
So again, clean sheet incoming. Winks, assist master, nurse passed my meds.
He's escaped. He's escaped.
Sean's not feeling the Harry Winks thing. Sean, he's not on the team sheet yet, so let's just wait and see.
But we know he is, Sam. We know he's going to start. That's the worst thing. We know he's going to start.
But
we thought Davis and Winks were going to be gone, and now these two are like, let me not. Positive vibes, like you said. G said positive. I'm going to stay positive.
Jesus. Davis, Winks, Dyer. You know what I mean? There's players like that.
Sanchez could be starting.
Sanchez. With all the players we wanted to boot it out, we were driving them to the airport. They might be like mainstays in this team. Well,
what about the certain, you know, I don't even want to carry on really, but do you think a certain Dreadhead will get a look in the team? Or
that's too much now. I can't deal with now. Come on now. There's only so much Conte can carry. We can take some, but let's not go too far. Let's not go too far. Oh, dear me. Right, so Darius is saying 3-1. I'm saying 3-1 as well. So we're both going for this victory. Thank you all very much for watching. Much appreciated with all them super chats. Pleasure doing these things for you. We love doing them. Look out for Darius's 3K lineup show.
Yeah.
Also, just a quick one. Judge Jodi's doing her play racing show on Sunday this week, as opposed to Monday. I think it's going to be at 10 o'clock, and it's with the beardless Cody Mack.
Oh, is
Cody,
it?
Cody Mack.
My gosh! Is this his first appearance with without his beard on YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh my lord! I'll be there. First one in the room. I'll be there.
First appearance as a 16-year-old boy, Cody Mack, tomorrow. That's what I'm looking for.
It's going to be amazing. Shout out Cody Mack, by the way. You actually followed for his shout out Cody Mack. Nah,
Cody's a genius. I like
legend. Absolute legend.
Juice Nut, just one last one. If those dodgy players play, Winks, Davis, Deli, I wish my stream goes down. So when people are not feeling this, but we'll see what you put in your lineup. Anyway, let us come off this. Let us take off these things and get to the end of the show. Chelsea are playing Leicester right now. Oh, Leicester, Chelsea.
I'll check the score for you right now.
Any scores?
It is 0-0.
No. I thought that would be the case, but it's not a problem. Right then, Darius. Take care. Look out for the game tomorrow. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go for victory. We're both saying 3-1. Put in the comments what you think the score is going to be. Leave us smash a like, should I say. Leave us any more comments you want. Anything you want from us in the future. Getting my words out. Trying to at least. But yeah, we are PAXTON Road TV. This has been the preview show for the game. Tottenham Hotspur versus Leeds. Kicking off tomorrow, 4:30. Look out for it on Sky Sports or anywhere else that you may be able to get to watch the game. Right, that's it. Done now. Darius, see you later.